Hello ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, how are you all doing on this fine Wednesday afternoon? As most of you have already mostly seen, there is a petition going around to try and overturn or stop the decision by the British government to stop taking unaccompanied refugee children. My stance on that would be that we have an obligation as a country, as a quite wealthy Western country, and as a human race, as human beings, individual, to help our fellow man when we can, with whatever we can. They're unaccompanied, so I can understand how people are a little bit worried about that. But my thing on it is, if we are going to stop taking unaccompanied refugee children, no matter whether they would be Syrian, Somalian, Libyan, doesn't matter where they're coming from, we shouldn't take them. But on the other hand, if we're not going to take them or take responsibility for that, we should then take responsibility and stop bombing them, or stop supplying weapons to them. It comes hand in hand. It's problem, reaction, solution. In my eyes, the problem is it's not 100% our fault. Do you know what I'm saying? There are others that are guilty as well. Maybe not as guilty or more guilty, but do you know what I'm saying? We're not the only ones, as UK citizens, to be taking part in these horrendous acts, no matter where they are in the world. So, taking responsibility for our actions. I honestly don't believe, as many of you know, that having borders on a country really makes much of a difference. At the end of the day, this planet belongs to all of us. When people say statements like, oh, well, Great Britain belongs to us, or the land known as Great Britain belongs to us, in my opinion, it sounds ridiculous. It's almost like saying that, we own the ocean and we own the sky. You can't own anything. You have it for the amount of time that your existence or your essence lives on this planet. Once that has expired, it's no longer yours. Man has this ingenious thing of inheritance and handing down pieces of earth or pieces of land and different names. I don't live like that. Yes, I understand that that's how it may be, but as we are moving towards a higher awakening, we need to start actually making sense of the shit. Taking unaccompanied refugees, no matter where they come from, we should take some responsibility as humans. There are most probably people now that are saying, well, would you take them into your home? Yes, I would. Would I build houses for them, temporary shelters or temporary, accommodation, so that every woman, man and child, regardless of their situation or nationality, should have a roof and somewhere safe and warm to be? Yes, I would. That's me personally. I know there are many of you out there that agree with me, that would do the exact same thing and feel the exact same way. And I understand that there are people that disagree with me and want to use the actions of the few and paint it for the many. As this crisis doesn't seem to be going anywhere, we don't seem to see an end in sight in Syria or Somalia or Lebanon or Libya. Do you know what I'm saying? These war-torn countries which we've had a hand in. Yemen, sorry, I didn't want to forget Yemen. We have to obviously break things down to a more manageable level for us to be able to deal with. I don't understand how so many people claim, no responsibility whatsoever for the actions of their government, yet in another hand will quite happily, be so far up the government's arse, it's unbelievable. Yes, I understand that many of you go, well, I have my own life to lead. I have my own bills to pay, my own children to look after, my own TV programs to watch. But at the end of the day, if we all took a moment out of our day, or a few minutes out of our day, to try and understand the situation that some of these people are in, None of them, I believe, it's their fault. You know, at the end of the day, nobody asks for this shit to happen to them. It just happens. It just happens. It doesn't happen here, so it's a little bit more difficult to keep in mind some of the crazy things that are going on in the world. On a second note, I see that the British government have refused to discuss our petition on allowing Donald Trump to the country as a state visit. To be perfectly honest, in my opinion, I'm not surprised. I didn't believe they were going to listen to us, but at the end of the day, I did not feel disheartened by signing petitions to the effect of what I believe in. I am a firm believer in that you have to stand up for what you believe in, because being silent is no longer a way of doing things. Regardless of your opinion on either topics or any of the topics of my videos that I have on my YouTube channel, which is Gary Son of David, all my Facebook feeds, they are all for me. They are all for educational purposes. They are all for the purposes of expanding your knowledge. At the end of the day, I understand that we are, blinkered by what we see when we are, controlled by the media. The media tells us what to believe, and unfortunately we don't try and make our own thoughts upon it. I try to be different. I try to be, genuine to you guys. I know I swear a lot. For that I apologize, but I am very passionate with what I do. At the end of the day, I don't want to be on my deathbed and think of all these things I could have been a part of, all these things I could have changed. Now is the time for change. Now is the time for action. So from me, as usual, it's peace and love.